Hi everybody. Today I want to show you how to make a wreath with burlap and a hanger. These wreaths are really popular right now, but you don't always find them in the store. They're hard to get sometimes. So, with that being said, you can get the same look for a lot less with a wire hanger that you probably have in your house. And if you don't, you can find them at the thrift store. I found a bunch of them for 99 cents, and I've been using them as a base of some of my craft projects, some of my wreaths and things that I've been making. So you're going to have your basic wire hanger. You're going to need some wire cutters that are really good, and some needle nose pliers. Mine are crooked. You want straight ones. And what you're going to do is you're going to snip the neck of the hanger off, and you're going to end up with the hanger. And so you need these needle nose pliers to kind of straighten it out. Actually, you can snip all the way to this point if you'd like, or it doesn't matter if you don't want to deal with bending that out. But I leave one of the ends on here so that I can bend it into a loop. This is going to be how you're going to close up your wire, and it's going to be really important to do that, because what you're going to do next is you're going to take your burlap and you're going to be threading it through this like a big giant needle, and this is going to prevent the burlap from coming off the end. And I have a super easy tip using a CD holder, empty one, and some Sculpey clay. Kind of mount it to my table here so that I can unwind my Sculpey's not holding, so that I can unwind this without it going all over the place. Let me move these tools out of the way here. So next we're going to go ahead and take our end of the wire, and be careful because this can be a little sharp. You might want to file it with some sandpaper, or even I actually use emery boards for a lot of things. So this burlap actually has a lot of open weave compared to this one, so I'm good with that. Whatever weave you get is the weave you get. You're going to start at the corner of your roll of burlap ribbon and go ahead and feed it in a diagonal across, like so. Then you're going to go back, and the same length, same distance, you're going to create a square on the diagonal here and feed it the other way. And you're going to just keep doing this, almost like knitting or crocheting. I don't do either one. But you're directing this needle to go into a diagonal on your burlap. And what happens is it ends up in a bunched up looking, the burlap ends up getting bunched up and looking like it's fed through one of these, which are, like I said, really popular, and sometimes you're able to get them and sometimes you're not. So just continue doing this, and the loops are going to depend, or the airiness of your wreath is going to depend on how far away you are allowing the diagonal to be fed on the burlap. If you take a shorter diagonal, it's going to be a tighter weave, a tighter looking wreath, and not so airy and big and scrunchy looking, which is, I think, what a lot of people are going for when they do this kind of a wreath. So continue on until you're done making your wreath. I went ahead and finished this off, and all I did on the very end was take the two corners of the ribbon and meet them together and fit them over the wire, like so, just securing it. And then I went ahead and created a little hook on this end to feed into this existing hook. Kind of like a fastener of some sort. So then you're going to close this down with your needle nose plier. I hate these because they're crooked. They're super old. Had them for a long time. Okay, so and you clamp it shut. Then you can shape your wire into a circle. And this is going to be a really small diameter. My hand barely fits through it compared to this wreath. And I think this wreath is a little bit bigger because I went ahead and I allowed a little bit more on the hanger when I made it. And that's okay. I really like the way this looks. It's really a nice, full wreath. And then what I do is I take a piece of twine that I've already knotted in a tight square knot like that. And I think that's what they call it. I don't know. Anyway, you can't untighten it. So I'm going to find where I would like my center to be on this wreath. This is probably going to be the top here. And I'm going to go ahead and loop this through like so. Actually, let's take the loop through the bottom part. So now you have a hanger for your wreath that blends in a little bit better and isn't going to be sticking out like a sore thumb like the top of the wire would be. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and decorate this now. I learned that working on a florist easel is a lot easier than hanging it on the wall or working off of the table. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on my florist easel, and I'm going to show you what you can add to it to make it a holiday wreath or an everyday wreath for your house. I wanted to show you how easy it is to work on a florist easel. This is an easel that you can find at a florist supply store or at a cemetery. I worked in the flower shop industry, worked in several flower shops locally for a total of 7 years, so I learned some tricks here and there. And I always used to see the silk designer work on an easel. And so when I was able to get my hands on one, I went ahead and I got one. And it helps immensely with a lot of different projects, not just making wreaths or making silk arrangements that need to be hung. I've also used it to hang piñatas that I've been making or to spray paint items. So it's very handy to have. And you can find the easel itself, like I said, at a florist supply store, or you can go to your local cemetery district and ask if you can have one. A lot of times they'll give them to you if they don't belong to a local shop. So this makes my life easier, this easel. Has the hook up here to hold on to this. Here's another look for the wreath that I did. I went ahead and added some lace elements and some raffia, which I kind of just tied into the wire, and the lace also was bunched up with some jute and tied in little loops. And I added a flower, a lace flower that I had been working on for a while. So it gave it more of a shabby chic feel that I was looking for to go probably into my room. I'm not sure if I want to sell it yet or not. But I'm happy with the way both my wreaths came out, and I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and have fun creating your own burlap wreath.